There was a stage where you'll notice in Chatsworth, in Phoenix, well in Durban as such, everybody was doing ABF conversions, and the 2-litre 16-valve ABF is king. I am a die-hard ABF fan, I can tell you that now, but let's be honest, nothing sounds better than this R32. It's aggressive. Yo, it's aggressive. Kevin Moonsamy. I am in Hillary, formerly from Chatsworth, proudly Chatsworth. I'm driving a Mk1 R32 converted. This car was actually purchased from Bayview, Chatsworth. The lady used to take her children to school in it. It was a 1.4 carbureted Golf 1. Then we went through the motions with it because initially we built it because I wanted the sound. But when we started, it had some panel beating work and things like that, so we blew the car over. Then we did the suspension, and then thereafter, slowly but surely, we managed to do the R32 conversion. I have another turbo car, and at that time Trivolan just got into building these R32 Mark 1s, and they've become so efficient at it, it's like in and out with their shop. I went in the yard and I was building a 16-valve aspirated Golf. I've been building that for the last 4 years. I was getting the part and keeping it. Like, I built the head, I built the bottom end, I bought the rods, I bought the pistons, you know, as time went. Then Trivolan said, you know what, you're going to build this aspirated 16-valve and you're going to want to run a 11. But it's going to be a car you can't use. It's going to be a car that needs a very expensive gearbox to match the engine. It's going to be a car that needs to be on methanol 24/7, and it's not a car you can enjoy. Why don't you get rid of some of the stuff you bought for that engine and build this R32? You will enjoy driving it. Then I went for a drive in his green car, which was the first R32 they built. And then I was like, okay. The exhaust on this car is full polished and it's mandrel bent. It was Uncle Ibi, Unit 10. He's a local hero. Ibi's exhaust. He did a really good job, and up till now, if you go underneath the car, the branch and the exhaust, okay, nobody's going to look underneath, but we did full polish and it's still full polished till today. Quality of workmanship is there. It's 306 stainless steel. It's one of the better sounding exhausts that you can put on an R32. And the reason why I say that's my favorite part is because, let's say if you park 5 together, you will just know which ones Denzil's auto built, because they're specific on their build and they're even specific on their exhaust. Uncle Denzil told me at that time when we were building it, he said you can go cheaper, but you're not going to get the sound that you want, and I know what you want from this car. Spend a little bit extra and get the one, and I can tell you I got no doubt. Especially when you're driving, even if you're driving on N2. I had people stopping next to me the other day while I was coming back home, and you know, they just come next to you and they go like this here, because they can hear it, but it's not too loud. But when you go full throttle, then you know there's a 32 inside. Trivolan told me, you know what, if you want to really get into it with this car, we need to get it faster. So the way to get faster was to put the methanol. So I said, okay, let's do ethanol and pump fuel first, which is what I did. And the car ran 12.2. Then we said, okay, we want to get a bit faster, but then he said, you know what, you're putting the methanol, you need obviously more air. So I worked on this induction. It's not the prettiest, because the fact is, if I can show you the other induction that the guys use comes out the headlight. And I wasn't willing to move my battery to the boot and this and that, because this is a street car. I use this car to work, I use this car on the weekends. I cannot drive without one headlight in the front, right? So we tried to custom build an induction, and we built one that came here. But when we put it on the dyno, what was happening was that the hot air from the radiator was getting sucked into the engine. So it was pointless. That's how we ended up trying to bend it there. We adjusted the water bottle, the brake booster a bit, and we landed up with that. That little induction gave me 8 horsepower. So it made a difference. But obviously at that time, it wasn't just the induction. We put the ethanol in when we noticed the difference in there. That was the 2 changes we made. Nothing. You know, another thing with these engines, this is if you want to call it the newer generation ABF. There was a stage where you'll notice in Chatsworth, in Phoenix, well in Durban as such, everybody was doing ABF conversions, and the 2-litre 16-valve ABF is king. I am a die-hard ABF fan, I can tell you that now, and loud and proud, because Trivolan and Denzil know as well. At that time as well, I didn't want to go the 6-cylinder route. But let's be honest, nothing sounds better than this R32. I mean, sound-wise, for a 6-cylinder, and bang for buck, in its stock form, what you get out of it is second to none. Especially because of the fact that you can, again, it's ABF. You can use it to work Monday to Friday, and then Friday night, Saturday night, you take it out, you race it, and Monday you're back to work. It's still, it's there, you know, it's efficient bang for buck build. And again, unopened. So
the engine, entire unit unopened.
Unopened. We bought the engine from Cape Town, we put it on. They gave us a month's guarantee, so we ran it like that for a month just to make sure there was nothing wrong with it. And I'm a little bit particular, or as Trivo and Imran will even say, I'm fussy. Because if there's something not right, it must be fixed. Maybe it's not the fastest, so it doesn't need to be the fastest, but it needs everything to be working to do its best. If it does its best with everything working right, it's fine, then we'll accept it. That's how it works. And again, this engine came in, we didn't start off 11 second, we started off with 12.5 with full pump fuel. Then we put the ethanol, we put the induction, we went back, we did 12.2. But what had happened was, as you get more power, the clutch started giving way. That was the problem with the car, which we picked up in the drag. In fact, the last run on that drag where we ran at 12.2, the guy actually asked me if I don't want to go by the line and pick my clutch up. That's how bad the smell was from the car. But we don't race with excuses. You're always grateful, and you're not chasing anybody else. We went to the 12.5, I came back with a 12.2. I did better than I did previously. So for that, at that time, we were grateful.
This is Kevin Moonsamy's fully licensed R32. Folk drove here from Durban, from Hillary. This is Kevin.
Yes, boy. That's right.
Hope you to come out first in the class this time.
Let's try. Let's try. I think we can't
Got a V5 box. It's a stock standard V5 box. I didn't want to put the LS in. Again, it's a street car. I've got a turbo car with a LS in it. It's also a street car, but to drive it in peak hour traffic, you can go off your head. I didn't want that here. I wanted this car to remain as street as possible. Like I said, I built it initially for the sound, for driving, for enjoying the drive. But what had happened was, once we started getting more power, we discovered we needed to do the clutch. Then after we did the clutch, slowly but surely, certain parts in the suspension started giving away. So I bought some race, we call it polyurethane suspension, which we had to upgrade according to the power that it was giving. And then in the back, I changed the springs. So we put a little stiffer spring in the back on the last drag with the stiffener in order to, not allow the back to dip while we're racing, so that you can get all the power down in the front. This car without a LS stock standard V5 box, it ran a 1.6 60 foot, which is an achievement, personal achievement for me. I was very happy with that. I'll say it again, it's the small things that make the bigger differences, especially with racing. A simple thing like, again, Trivolan setting my gears. I'm fussy. If my seat is not right, I'll miss a gear. That's how fussy I am. So he needed to get it right after he put the clutch in. I even told him, Trivo, set the 1 to 4 easy. So even if you struggle to get 5, as long as the 1 to 4, the gears, I can bang it, And that's what he did. And when I went to the drag, every single run, even the time when the clutch was giving way, I still got all my gears. And it was, again, I went and thanked him. He said, yeah, that's only an excuse. You never come in the 11s yet. So I said, don't worry, we're going back. And that's what we did. It's partly achievement and partly your pit crew, because you got people shouting at you the whole day. We put the car on the dyno, we ran it on the methanol, it made the power. Imran was very happy. He told me to go drive. Then I phoned Trivolan that day. I told him the last week before the drag, we put the clutch on. I took it for a power run on Thursday. The car was making 272 horses and about 320 torque. On that Thursday, it made 260 and just over 300 torque. The clutch was slipping on the dyno, brand new clutch. Imran said we didn't run it in enough. I said, okay, no problem. We took it Thursday night, drove it. Friday, used it to work, drove it again. Saturday, drove it up to the drag. And we were testing from the Ultra City just to check if the gears were taking and the clutch was holding with a street tire.
Still on the entry.
Yes. So we were testing just to check, and you know what? It worked. As we were going through the drag, and I still remember so clearly, it was about 2 o'clock or so. Imran came Just so he always does that for his customers. He goes around in the drag checking, you know. Then he came to check me, and there was another 2 other guys he had there, and then he came to check me, and I ran a 12 flat, and I was happy. At that time I ran 12 flat, from 12 to 12 flat, and he looked at me and said, what happened? I said, yeah, I'm happy. He said, no, this car can go 11, go and drive. And on that run we warmed up and we pre-staged. I'm not sure if you were the one that got that first part of that run. When we pre-staged, the guy dropped the lights. So I wasn't ready to take off because they were staging for so long that my clutch was starting to get hot. I backed off. And then I went and took off again. I think the anger helped a little bit, obviously, because I was driving a bit harder than usual. When I finished and I phoned my friend Vivian, when I phoned him, he was my pit crew there. I was very happy. Again, like I said, and I even told Harry this after the drag, the fact that I drove here and I ran the time that I wanted to run, I'm the drive back home. I don't need anything more out of this car. It's done what it needed to do. Look, it took some time. I've been to the suspension shop or alignment shop 4 times in order to get what I wanted before the drag. So we fiddled with it a bit, you know, I spent some time with it. We fiddled with the launch. My friend was generous enough to lend me his draggy, so you could see like the little changes. It's not going to be exact to the drag, but it's going to be something that, hey, you know what, you're improving 0.1, you'll get better. A guy that I'm using from Super Quick in Mgeni Road that does like alignment and suspension work. He actually got another turbocharged car. I only met him about 3 months ago. But the thing is, when I went to him and I approached him to do a simple thing like alignment, but I explained to him, this is what I want, this is how I want the car to launch, this is how I want the tires to sit when they're staging, this is how I want the tires to sit when I take off. And he understood what I wanted. So I went through it with him in order to get what the end result I wanted, you know.
What's the guy's name?
His name is Lee. His name is Lee from Suzuki, Mgeni Road. Every person plays their part. There's service providers, but not only that, they're friends, they're personal friends. They understand you. I'm going to Imran for more than 10 years, even Trivolan and them. You know, him and I don't have a relationship where if I have a problem with the car, I can't phone him and tell him, Imran, you know what, I don't feel this is right. Can you check it up again for me? Obviously, when you're putting methanol, we had to go bigger injectors. You can't use the standard injector. Took the injectors to him for cleaning. It was a second-hand set I bought from one of my friends, and obviously it's second-hand. We had to test it. I took his word for it, because the fact is, a new set of injectors nowadays is, sorry, I don't know. I'm swearing that because I was shocked. When I went to Dezzi Electric to go buy a new set of injectors and pump, and this is a 6-cylinder, not 4-cylinder, obviously, so it was working out a lot. And then I decided to buy a second-hand, and I went to Imran. He tested it. I said, Imran, I'm taking your word for it because nobody else is going to know better than you. Is the injectors 100%? He said, from what I tested, I'm telling you, Kevin, put it in your car, it'll be fine. When we took the car to tune, before he did anything, we loaded a methanol map, and he just did a low-down test just to check the spray pattern, like, you know, the way the car is not getting too lumpy and things like that. 100%. And the good thing is that when he's testing it, he knows what he's looking for. Because look, you and I won't know about injector testing. We don't. I know how the filling is supposed to be, but I don't know to check the spray pattern, how it's supposed to react at a certain bar pressure and things like that. All that he knows.
How do you think the communication between you, Trivolan, and Imran needs to be for you to drive this car and get it across the line at the level that it's built?
To be very honest, that needs to be 110% also, because communication is the key to getting results. The thing is that if my mechanic doesn't understand what we want from the car, how are you gonna explain that to the tuner? The tuner is there to take the power out, but if he doesn't know what mods you did, like I'm saying, the induction, the injectors, things like that needed to be done in order to get the car to where it needs to be. If the communication is not there, you're never going to get there, firstly. Secondly, as I told you, Imran came to me in the drag because he knew what he did. And he even told me, I'm going to try something on this car, and I'm telling you he's going to get the car faster across the line, but do you trust me? I said, Imran, I'm coming here for too long not to trust you. Do what you need to do. And then when he came to the drag, that's what he told me. He said, hey, 12 flat is, I want 11.9, but I don't want 11.9 for me, I want 11.9 for you, because I know this car's got the capability to do it. So again, see the communication, it's there. And because it was there, I think it gives you a little bit more confidence to drive the way you need to drive and do what you need to do in order to get the time. And I'm not the hardest driver in the world. I don't know how to say that. I know some people think you're racing, you have to drive hard. Yes, I drive hard, but some people are driving way harder than me. Like Trivolan's brother, Naveshan, we call him No Mercy. Because that guy has no mercy for any gearbox or any engine he's driving. He gets the time, no doubt, but his driving is harsh. Mine is harsh, but to an extent. Also, and that I say with a pinch of salt, because I have to appreciate what I got. It took me not a quick build. This was time, and it was a lot of money. I sold one of my sets of rims, which I would never ever have sold in a hurry, which is a set of original Long Beach rims. But I sold it to one of my good friends. So if I need to buy it back in time, I probably will. But I needed at that time to finish it. So I said, you know what, let me just get rid of the set of wheels for now, so I can. On pump fuel, it made 265, 295 torque. That's straight horsepower. Horsepower, yeah. Imran's only measures in horsepower. You can convert that for yourself, but it's with standard injectors and with the induction. That's what it was making, but not the big induction, just a short pipe.
So 265 horsepower and
290 torque. Let me tell you, for every day, that is more than enough. And in fact, I still got the thousands on here. This car with the standard injector, but with the ethanol mix, it made about 270 and like 300. So with the meth, it made 272 and 320. The methanol jumps the torque. When we started, it was the VW and the 20 valves, you know, the Toyota. So I used to have fun with that. But we enjoyed. The only thing now is, I think as you mature, you realize street racing is getting worse and worse as time goes. We are in dire need for a racetrack in Durban. I'm sure a lot of the races will tell you that. Dezzi is excellent. We got an opportunity to race. We raced, the track's good. But the fact is, it's expensive. And you know, it's getting more and more expensive. This entire year, I raced 3 times. Normally, you could be able to race every 2 to 3 months, which is at least 6 times a year. Like, I don't even think I'm racing for the rest of the year, because the fact is, you got to save up, you got to cover yourself, and then you go out to race and come back. And also, it's not only an expensive affair. For Chepston, it's far. We need something more central that, you know, the guys can go on a Saturday night and have a couple of runs and come back home. You know, we need to create a safe environment. I'm happy that I know I'm bringing this in off topic, but I'm happy that that guy Gayton McKenzie is coming in to try and bring a little bit more to the world of motorsport. I know he's into spinning, but I hope he hears our cry for drag racing as well. People are losing their lives in Amgeni Road nowadays, and I'm sure I don't want to again get into it, but everyone's watching socials, everyone's watching the news. It's getting bad to worse. I don't want to see the sport dying because of the lack of a facility to race. That shouldn't be the case. And racing will never die. Us as guys in the racing scene, you see there's more and more. And as time goes, you know, more and more people want to start racing. We just need somewhere to do it. The older generation would know about backstretch. We used to love backstretch. I mean, it was one of our, we call it prime time. You know, we really enjoyed ourselves. But then socials came along and things got highly publicized, and then police, and then when you're running from the police, I still remember that one day the guy was running from the police and he ended up smashing the robots and people were under the car and stuff like that. It gets hectic fast, and it's not needed. It's not needed. Durban needs a track, and that's the only thing that I can say from all the years of racing that I think that needs to be improved. We need to do better so we can be better. That's what I feel. Let's hope something comes of it.